What an honor, what a privilege it is to be here. And without further ado, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
Hey, what's up, guys? So that was Jackson Dart the other day introducing President Trump at a rally in New York City, and this scene caused insane havoc all throughout social media, particularly Twitter. And the main person who took issue with Dart was his teammate Abdul Carter, who tweeted this: "Thought this shit was AI. What are we doing, man?" And this tweet caused a shitstorm in the NFL community as you had fans from both political parties chime in. Look, Trump for what he is a pretty divisive character, partly due to some of his rhetoric, but also the media plays a large role in that division. Anyways, afterwards, Carter took to Twitter again the next day, tweeting, "Me and JD6 are good. We spoke earlier as band. Y'all keep the narrative." Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. First off, no one was creating any narratives but Abdul Carter for tweeting what he tweeted. I know fans want politics out of sports, but this isn't the first time an athlete has taken a photo with a current or past president. Steph Curry has taken pictures with Biden, same with Jalen Hurts and Obama. Then you had other players like Max Crosby, Joe Burrow, and Nick Bosa taking photos with Trump. Add on top of that, a lot of players and teams for that matter have made political statements in the past for refusing to receive their honors from Trump at the White House. But that being said, I think Carter took it a step further and made it really political by calling out his teammate in public. And this isn't just any teammate, that's your starting QB. Had this been a less known player, it probably would have been swept under the rug, but for your star defensive player, calling out your QB is just a huge no-no. And now, for all of minicamp and the start of this season, this narrative that Abdul Carter created is going to be talked about nonstop. The media is going to take this story and continue to ask both players about the incident during post-game press conferences for the next little while, causing a distraction which you know teams really hate. On top of that, did Abdul Carter not also know that his new head coach, John Harbaugh, was also at the White House taking photos with the president not too long ago? Or what about Lawrence Taylor, who endorsed President Trump during his 2024 campaign?
I grew up a Democrat, and I've always been a Democrat. Until I met this man right here. I'll tell you what. He will not have to worry about nobody in my family ever voting for a Democrat again. Okay?
I mean, this is LT we're talking about, the very same player who Carter said was his idol and requested to wear his jersey number. But that said, I want you to listen to Emmanuel Acho's take on this because he brought out some interesting points.
All right, it's time to have an uncomfortable conversation about what the hell is going on in New York. Jackson Dart, the quarterback, supporting President Donald Trump? He's allowed to do that. He's a citizen. He's allowed to have a freedom of thought. Abdul Carter, first-round pick, his teammate calling him out? He's allowed to do that. If Jackson Dart's allowed to support Donald Trump, then his teammate is allowed to support his grievances with them doing that. Here is my issue. Jackson Dart, you know how several of your brothers, your teammates, your friends, your ride or dies, how they might feel about this individual. So I don't think there's a lot of wisdom or discernment in very publicly supporting an individual who many of your teammates feel offended by. So yes, Jackson Dart, you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. But I don't know that it's a super wise decision without necessarily consulting in some of your teammates. Abdul Carter, you're allowed to express your frustrations with it. I don't think it's super wise to do it publicly because now you got 36 million people looking at a tweet of Abdul Carter, you calling out your boy. Keep in mind, y'all are both supposed to be the future of the New York Giants. One a first-round quarterback, one a first-round edge rusher. Y'all both supposed to be the face of the franchise. So with that being said, Jackson Dart, I don't personally have an issue with him supporting Donald Trump. He's a human. He can support who he wants to support. Was it pretty stupid given the reaction it will cause to his other brothers that are humans and have human emotions? Absolutely. I don't think it was wise. I don't got an issue with it. Abdul Carter, I don't have an issue with it either. Was it also unintelligent? Yes, because now you caused a distraction and the organization ain't won no games in a long time. But they're men. They can do what they want. It's going to be something to watch, though.
Okay, so I kind of agree with Acho here. As a citizen, you're allowed to support whichever president. However, one thing I do want to point out is that why do so many liberals take issues when players support Trump, but you never hear conservatives go after other players supporting their Democrat president? That said, I didn't really understand Acho's take about Jackson Dart's actions and how it could affect his teammates. Again, this is always liberals who have an issue, but not the other way around. Anyways, guys, what do you think about this situation? And let me know in the comment section below.